It's on! Good afternoon. It is, right? The sun is back. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Disney's Park Talk Live, where we bring you what's going on in the world of Disney theme parks for the past week or so. Before we start, I got to know who watched the eclipse today.
Not me.
You did, Mike? What was your eclipse experience?
We only had 40% of totalitarianism. What was it? Totality?
Exactly, yeah. We were like 70s Russia, not 90. No, go on.
But yes, I did go out. My wife was very nice and left me out she's away, but she left me out the glasses, and I went outside and I saw it very briefly, and then I came inside and continued working.
How about you, Rebecca? Did you bother at all?
I kind of did, but not aggressively. I walked out with a colander. I didn't notice much of a difference, so I went back inside.
Made some pasta. How about Jeremiah?
I was on Batu watching one of their multiple suns be eclipsed, and thankfully, I will say, one, this shirt was provided by Roosevelt's. Thank you for always providing us with great clothes. Two, thank you to the guest who randomly, as I'm walking through Galaxy's Edge, is handing out the eclipse glasses to people.
Aww.
Yeah, because you couldn't see anything any place unless you were in the direct path, unless you had the glasses on.
And I didn't bother at all, but I could see the people at the building across from me. I think they were actually looking at the building itself so they could see the reflection of the sun in it and watch the eclipse.
Oh, that's cute.
And how about you, Guy? Did you watch it all? No, because I'm a fictional character. All right. Hello, I'm Doobie Mosley, co-founder here at Laughing Place. Over there is Rebecca Mosley.
Hey, everybody.
VP of Food and the other co-founder. Down below her is Mike Celestino, the head of SoCal Theme Parks and Star Wars. And down below is Jeremiah Good, the guy who we try to get to look at the sun, but he's too smart for us.
But if it's raining outside, I'm turkeying. I'm just...
All right, let's get started. Mike, so this last week, we had something that was both Star Wars. I'm derelict. Let me say some hellos. Hey, Gio. Hey, Rich. Mouse Fan Travel, our recommended travel agency, of course. Hello, Nikki B. Disney trucks are awesome, and yes, we will be talking about one of them today. All right, Mike Celestino, last week we talked, you had the opportunity to do something that was both Star Wars and Disney, right up your alley, and right up two of your alleys. Talk about it.
Yes, both Rebecca and I were at Disneyland very early Friday morning for the Star Wars Season of the Force media event. Season of the Force is a roughly 2-month-long seasonal celebration of all things Star Wars at Disneyland Resort, but especially in Disneyland Park itself. There's me at Black Spire Outpost in the marketplace and on Batu doing the photo pass magic shot. Well, this isn't the magic shot.
I was
this
like,
is just
what's
a photo.
magic?
There is a magic shot coming up later. But yeah, a Season of the Force is chock full of Star Wars-y goodness. The first, well, yeah, there's the magic shot. So if you want to go and, I was surprised. This actually uses a physical bounty puck prop that I also took a picture of it. That's up somewhere else. But it puts Grogu, the hologram of Grogu there coming out of the puck, like you're hunting him, like you're a bounty hunter. And that says wanted there in Arabesh.
I like how your shirt, it looks like Yoda is looking at Grogu.
Yes. Grandpa Yoda looking at Baby Yoda. Bless you.
So continue. I'll let you meander.
Okay, yeah. The very first thing they showed us was Star Tours. So there's new content. There's one new destination on Star Tours. There's also 3 new hologram messages and 1 new possible beginning scene. So the main feature of this is the planet Cetos from Ahsoka, where you'll encounter the Purrgil space whales, as you can see there on the poster. And the poster was provided to us by Disney Parks. Mine came matted. Jeremiah's did not.
No.
Ours says Disneyland. Does yours say Disneyland or Walt Disney World, Jeremiah?
Walt Disney World. It's rolled in the tube, and it that's where it'll stay until sometime after I die and people get me out of Capone's vault.
Let me ask Jeremiah, real quick, since this is the one part of this discussion you can participate in, since this has also occurred. Star Tours has changed in Florida as well. What did you think of what you got to experience?
I actually got to experience all three of the broadcast and the alternate beginning. So the alternate beginning is, instead of the Millennium Falcon, Ahsoka's T6 is there, and they pretty much just take the blueprint of whatever the previous thing was, the Falcon, and they have, instead of Han shooting at the stormtroopers, they have Ahsoka pulling at the lightsabers and battling the First Order troopers, or no, they're stormtroopers still. Clone troopers? No, stormtroopers. Yeah, stormtroopers. And then the T6 lifts up, she hops up. The first planet could be anything. I've gotten Hoth, I think, 3 different times now. And then the transmissions are Cassian Andor, Ahsoka, or the Mandalorian Grogu. And which one did you guys get?
Mando
and Grogu.
So you got the frog spinning scene. Sorry, spoilers. But yeah, the Cassian is more of, he's talking about, you're in charge of the rebellion. You need to get these plans to wherever you're going, which we really don't. And then Ahsoka is pretty much the same of, it's our responsibility to get there. And then we fly off to, I don't know why they even gave it a name of a planet, because really you're in the clouds.
You can see, there's a shot where you can see the red leaves of the trees below. That's about it.
But then, you get to interact with the Purrgil, which is pretty cool. I know you guys got to talk with Tom Fitzgerald, which is cool. We are pretty much like, here, go on the ride.
Last name Gerald.
Yeah. And then, as I found out, the closing scene is locked in, so you pull into what's kind of the Star Tours base anyway, and that's the more entertaining of the closing ones. But I don't know if they're going to change that. They said as of now they're locked in for the time being, and we did confirm that it is Anthony Daniels. Anthony Daniels did the voice for C-3PO for the updates. But that's it.
Any Star Tours thoughts, Rebecca?
Yeah. Are you asking me or her? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just asking Rebecca.
Oh, go ahead.
But no, it was a lot of fun. One of the things that I guess I would say surprised me is that they actually found a way to kind of bring in a new maneuver that you haven't experienced before aboard the Star Speeder. How did that play for you guys? Because I'm kind of curious.
Do you mean the slalom or the
barrel roll? How'd that play for you, Jeremiah?
I enjoyed it. It does as close as it possibly can without actually doing it. One of the things that out here, and I asked Mike about this, but I guess it's not on your guys' side. For some reason, when we're jumping to light speed out here, it is like there is a clunk, like almost like the engine dies. And it happened every time except once today. And I went on it twice today. So it's been very interesting to see if that was something new or if it's just the hydraulics are having problems. So
yeah,
we'll see next time I go.
How'd the barrel roll play for you, Mike?
Yeah, pretty good. It's not terribly convincing, like you're flipping upside down or anything, but it's fun. The only thing that
reminded me, it reminded me a little bit, Mike, of the old ice tunnel at Universal.
Oh,
it was that kind of moment for me. Not as nearly as disorienting visually, but just kind of that odd, like, wait, okay, I see what we're going for here.
Once again, I want to applaud Disney for continuously updating Star Tours. They made a ride that can be updated, and they're actually updating it all the time. So thank you, Disney. Okay, continue on.
All the time?
Well, and it's so much easier. And the nice thing is with the digital age, it is easier, and we have seen them embrace that. Because, when it was first rolled out, we were talking legit, film distribution. So
remember the time we saw
right? Yeah.
film being pushed through the Grand California?
I have a couple things about Star Tours. A friend of mine observed that he was disappointed that you don't actually get swallowed by the whale because it would have made 3 attractions at Disneyland where that happens. And then my slight disappointment was that it did not sound like Pedro Pascal was voicing the Mandalorian, although the other 2 new characters are obviously, you see their faces. So Diego Luna and Rosario Dawson are both involved. Yeah.
No Wing Chow?
Did not see Wing, no.
And my favorite thing, and it's just so simple, is that as we kind of part ways with Ahsoka, she gives a nice little nod to her pal R2, like, "Oh, good to see you again, R2." And I just, that connection there, that little connection, I enjoyed that they bothered to bring that in. It's just a simple line, but I'm glad that they continued to acknowledge that.
Do you want a spoiler?
I think we've spoiled plenty.
In the Ahsoka transmission, she acknowledges C-3PO and R2-D2 also.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Which is strange when it's her transmission and then it goes right into seeing her in the Purgles or Purgle pod. But yeah, it was definitely cute to see the acknowledgement, and the connection is definitely there.
Awesome.
Yeah, after you left on Friday, Rebecca, I went on with the Skywalkers again, and we got the alternate opening with Ahsoka and the Ahsoka transmission. So we had all 3, like the trifecta of Ahsoka segments.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Mike, let me lead you to probably the thing that's gotten the most buzz.
They are very new, and
go for it.
So these are called BDX Droids, and they are partly inspired by the BD-1 droid from Star Wars and Fallen Order. Can you hear me? They're partly inspired by the video games.
Ask that you do not get too close to them. Oh my God.
Sorry, you keep going. You're fine. It's not you.
Okay.
It's the video that's messed up.
Anyway, they're a little chonkier. They're a little boxier than the droid from the game, but I did find them really, really charming. It's really fun to watch them waddle around and interact with their handler, and then there's a little bit of an interaction with the crowd as well. She pulls a kid out of the crowd and has the kid kind of give orders to the droids. The droids obey the orders for the most part. There's some wacky hijinks in there. But yeah, I think it's a really fun addition that brings a lot of life to the land, and I just had a big grin on my face the whole time watching that show. It's like they did like a 15-minute performance for us, and I thought maybe that was a special thing for the media, but through the day I was wandering through Batu and I encountered that pretty much the same thing happening for regular guests. So it seemed like that is the MO of the BDX droids, although they were doing it in different parts of Galaxy's Edge.
Mo is Wally, not Star Wars. Did you see them twerking? Because that's one of my all-time favorite videos now.
Yes, you can see that happening in the video that we uploaded.
Sure, I had that queued up. You can see that whole video on our YouTube channel, BDX Droids. It's the most popular one out there. Way to go, Mike. Rebecca, did you? I know you were with Mike, but did you even get to see the droids?
I saw them later on. During the initial media preview, I was a few rows back, so I did not have a visual or audio on what was happening. But I ran into them later on in the park. It reminded me, I think I told the team, it reminded me of the Peabody Hotel.
We don't want to see that.
Everybody would gather. And
obviously, you are taking some image scans, and that is absolutely fine. We encourage it. These are Explorer droids.
It's hard to talk over the
Oh, yes, I know. This is their first time.
Is it muted now?
Yep, it's
Yes.
muted now.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
I
it's
hear
fine.
it. I had the window muted, and apparently muting the window doesn't do it. I have to mute the video itself.
No worries. Okay. So yeah, so they so they're so adorable, and they gather a crowd, but yet people keep a respectful distance from it. So it's kind of like they had like this little processional through Batu. They kind of walked when I saw them, they walked in front of where you build your lightsabers, and then the droid depot, and kind of meandered their way over towards the the area over there by Oga's, kind of towards that pathway in essence. But so it was sweet and cute, and I'm excited. This is the kind of thing that I was expecting with Batu, was a lot of these kind of just out of in that universe, out of our universe moments. And so I'm grateful to see them arrive, and hope we get even more of these kinds of experiences over there.
Can I tell you my one nitpick about this? This is like super, super dorky.
It's super dorky. I can vouch.
What is it, Mike? What is it?
Okay, so the two names that she calls the droids in the video, if you watch it, she calls them Besh and Grek. Those are both letters in the Arabesh alphabet. However, Besh, the droid, has the symbol for Besh on his side. Unfortunately, Grek has the symbol for the character Kresh, which is the equivalent of C, Besh being B, Grek being G in the Arabesh alphabet. So I think somebody got their wires crossed, or the symbol is wrong on the droid.
Well, and so because my thing is that it's a blue droid and a green droid, so therefore the Beck and the Gresh can correspond to the colors, I would hope, right? Blue being I don't know if they do or not, but that's when I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, maybe that's what it is. And I'm not saying that the letter, the Arabesh still shouldn't maybe be different, but it was just like,
Right.
oh, I wonder if it's more connected to the color than it is to the letter on the side, the insignia on the side of the.
So did
It
you
could
ask
be.
who the alpha is, and the person in control said, "I'm the alpha"?
But that nitpick is nothing compared to Mike's frustration when we were doing the seek and find. Let me tell you, that was challenging. It's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. The seek and find that they have, it's free.
What is it, real quick?
You pick up your card over at Star Traders, and then you have to go throughout Batu finding these little canisters, and they're little. They're not, I mean, when you look at the picture, it looks like it's going to be maybe like a, classic milk jug kind of thing from a state fair. No, they're more like, a mayonnaise jar in size. And you find them throughout Batu, and they have an Arabesh symbol on them. Then once you have found all of them, there's 6, you go back to Tomorrowland, and you have to look through these series of signs and discern what the message is by eliminating the Arabesh symbols that aren't on the canisters, right? So that's in essence how you're decoding. And there's so many kind of different layers from the beginning until you fill in the blank. And they aren't exactly straightforward. And I know in some cases the decode sign was actually behind a Q, so it made it harder to find the sign itself. From what I understand, I didn't end up finding that one. That was Mike at that point was like, I know what this word is, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
But they give you such a cool prize for all that effort. I mean, that sounds like you're an hour.
It's free. It didn't cost any additional, and you get a nice Arabesh card when you're done that has Chewie on the other side. Ultimately, it's fun, but it could have been a bit more straightforward, a little bit less convoluted. And but I'm not gonna lie, I had a great time. I totally would do it again. But not paying as much attention to certain things. It was weird what you ended up having to pay attention to and not pay attention to.
Yeah.
When you were doing it.
When I go with Tori, I told her, I'm not telling you anything about this. I'm going to put it in your hand and see what you do, because I want to see from somebody who knows zero about it, and she's very good at puzzles and stuff. So hopefully maybe I'm just dumb,
Oh no. I mean, I will say no, because I got to chat about it with our friend, with our colleague, You were flipping through the pictures and didn't.
Wow, Doobie, you just spoiled it, and it's just call it quits.
I got to talk to it with our colleague from Mouse Planet, Adrian Vincent Phoenix. She actually creates these kinds of games, in general. So I got to ask her if it was just us, and she was like, no, there's some, so it's like it wasn't just us. So
As somebody who's done that type of stuff, that is too many layers for a basic game that you get a translator card for.
So it made me feel better. I was like, wait, am I missing something?
At least they didn't raise expectations with the name of it.
Seek and find.
Am I the only one that bugs so much? Is it
yes, me? It is just you.
Okay. He also spoiled the clip I was going to. I'm sorry if that was me, Kyle. I am recording this one too. All right, let's move on to one of the other really cool things. Rebecca, I know you got to meet Sabine as well, right? Or at least talk to her.
I was there, yeah, 100%. It was, she's amazing. As Mike's pointed out, she's appeared in other settings and locations, but not kind of to this level of, I don't know, detail. The costume is really impressive. The character.
What's wrong with Sabine, Kyle? Sabine's a great name, Kyle.
The costume was impressive. She herself, the dialogue that she has. I know Mike captured a moment where she was seeking input on a mural. So yeah, just a
rare smile from Sabine.
I know, right? There were not very many of those. And she was wandering.
Mike prefers this Sabine like Donald Duck, apparently. So
yes. Disgruntled, right?
Was she anatomically correct in the sense that she had a big hole in her stomach?
She did not have a lightsaber wound. Is this what? Or is it a saber wound? Yeah, it was a saber wound, right? Yeah.
Apparently, saber wounds are not fatal. I discovered that episode. Spoiler alert for beginning. Okay, sorry. Okay, and of course, one of the highlights for Season of the Force this year was the debut of, in a sense, a new fireworks show
that none of us saw.
Literally, none of us have seen it.
So, it was called Fire of the Rising Moons. And how did that go on Media Day, Mike?
The weather did not cooperate on Media Day, sadly. It rained all morning, and then it was windy the rest of the day. And about 45 minutes before it was scheduled to begin, we were camped out in the media section, and a cast member came over and told us it wasn't going to go down. So I will be there tomorrow. I'm going tomorrow to check it out. So,
but you did get an in-universe announcement.
Yeah. So I was hanging out with my friend Nick after that, and he was like, I wonder if there's going to be an in-universe announcement. I kind of occurred to me that it was a possibility, but it happened. I thought it was going to happen 15 minutes before, and it happened 20 minutes before. So I missed the beginning of it, but I did catch part of it on video.
And we got the 5-minute announcement also, I believe. I haven't watched the video, but friend of Laughing Place, Alexa, recorded it for us night before last, and sent that over. So we do have the full video up on our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Very happy to have that. Thank you. All right, merchandise and food. Rebecca, do you or Mike, do either one of you happen to have the coolest little merchandise item right next to you?
Oh, I could get it from the other room if need be.
Right here.
I think Rebecca. No, she had it
right here. Look. Look, it makes a difference. Open up. Look, see? And then when you close it.
What? It sounds like you're trying to start a lawnmower.
You never heard Jabba the Hutt before?
I haven't. When you open the mouth, it sounds normal, but when you close it, it sounds like you just closed the mouth on a speaker of Jabba the Hutt.
And then.
There you go.
By the way, look. Thank you, Alexa. We really appreciate it.
All right, so Jabba the Hutt is a popcorn bucket, and he is for sale for actual purchase from people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it comes with Salacious Crumb.
Yep.
which
and
is
you
the
can
only. I'm spending $40 on a popcorn bucket for a keychain pull. Yes.
I was very disappointed when I asked them if Salacious was sold separately, and then they handed me one for free, so I can't complain.
the nice thing is the popcorn bucket strap.
No, you
It
can't.
has like a specific little spot just for little crumb to hang. So yeah, so there you go. And through mobile order you can pick them up. It had a 4-hour return time when I checked that first day. So, and I heard that they sold out that first day, but I saw people were buying them the next day. So it seems like they're trying to, kind of release a I don't know. My perception was that maybe there was a select number they were going to offer per day, so that way they could extend them for a while. But
Is this in planet or out of planet?
Out of planet.
This was out
Okay.
of planet.
Where
We
is that?
received it in
Tomorrowland?
We received it in Planet because of the event was held at Docking Bay 7 for the media. But it is for sale over there by
Galactic Grill.
Yeah, Galactic Grill. By the way, I finally got to have a Ronto-less wrap. They are everything everybody says they are. They're amazing. So that was super tasty and yummy. And then we had we got to try a couple of the different juice beverages that are there. The coffee drink with the Cocoa Puff cereal is just as sweet as you might imagine it would be. Yeah, see, there, Jabba the Hutt bucket.
With 2 T's.
Hey, they spelled it right there.
Yay.
$31.99.
And
Did
then
you try this?
that was over at Ogas Cantina, so no, I did not try that. And I know when Mike went to Ogas, he was on a mission for halcyon stuff, so I'm guessing he didn't try it either.
I wasn't sure if this was gluten-free, but
I would not.
Isn't that the same thing that they normally have at Ogas? Isn't it just the Jello with the popping bobas in there?
yeah, I think they've had that before.
Correct.
Okay. But they've not had this before, right, Mike?
Yeah, here's me getting drunk at work. I had not eaten all day, and I had 2 drinks, which is a lot for me. But I had to get both glasses. They had the fiery Mustafarian, which is the other glass, and then this is the Silver Sea Martini.
Which one do you like more?
I actually ended up really liking the fiery Mustafarian. Like, if I were to order one again, it would be that one.
Do you pour the whole tube of stuff in there, or is it like you can control the heat?
You can control it. They actually told me to moderate it, because I think people before me had dumped the whole thing in all at once. But they warned me. They were like, make sure you don't pour the whole thing in.
Okay.
Just try out a little bit at a time, and that's kind of what I did. But I did go through the whole tube. And I really like that drink a lot. And I hadn't had that on the Halcyon.
Alexa with the great tip that you can also get Jabba and the Grand at the event cart.
Yep, and
Mike,
the Millennium Falcon popcorn bucket is also over there at that event cart, along with some super tasty cookies that I brought home for you, Doobie.
You did, and they were super tasty. I had the Wookiee cookie, I believe.
They're a little bit chewy.
I can't believe I'm laughing at that.
Really?
And and the Yoda. What was this? A scooter pie? What was it exactly? I don't know.
The fact that you just called something a scooter pie alone, Doobie.
Whatever it was pretty yummy. And Rebecca, something just happened over there. So
you could eat the button also?
She can't tell me
The
exactly
Star Wars button?
I think you can. I didn't eat it. I left it for my wife because that's the kind of husband I am. But I think it's edible. So, but the cookie thing is very yummy. It's kind of caramel apple is what we decided it tastes like. So, quite the fan of that. And there was also a.
Rebecca's buffering.
He's not here at all, actually. So he's just her screen. So I'm waiting to hear what happened to her. Oh, power went out. It's back. It's going to take a while to restart that computer. So Rebecca will be joining us again before too long.
That doesn't mean we start over, Doobie. We've done this a few times. I hope you don't start over the past 2 weeks when I've had computer problems.
The last thing, any merchandise, Mike, that you noticed for Season of the Force?
So that, like in Walt Disney World, we also have the new Star Tours merchandise. All the the hoodie that Gideon has now, and let's see, there was a new hat, a new shirt or two for Star Tours, and new pins for trading. I think they said you can trade with cast members for exclusive Star Wars pins during Season of the Force. Trying to think of anything else. Yeah.
Did they have the Star Speeder 1000 for you guys to look at?
No, I didn't see that. I don't think.
Doobie, do you have the photos from out here?
I don't.
So there's a new Star Speeder 1000 die cast. It's a little bit larger than the last one, and that's coming out towards the end of. They said end of this month, end of May, beginning of June is the way they said. So there's that die cast, and then there's a very large Star Speeder 1000 that's on a Star Tours base. They didn't have the price for it, but it was one of those things that Mike and I will both have on a shelf somewhere for absolutely no reason other than it's really cool.
Yes, to collect dust.
There it is.
Or me.
There you go. We're all there.
Both.
We're all there.
Okay.
Matt, you're back. You're back. Just me being extremely incompetent today. So this is the larger one, right, Jeremiah?
Correct. And it lights up. They didn't say anything about sound or anything on it, but it is really nice. That would have been one. I almost walked away with the hoodie, but I'm going to wait and buy the one at Disneyland because Disneyland's the original Star Tours. The die cast is also very nice, very detailed, and they did say just coming soon.
I'm waiting to buy the hoodie in Florida because I like Florida better, and Gideon has the Disneyland, so. But it's so cool.
Well,
it is a Star Tours costume. It's pretty awesome.
I wanted to mention there is a second popcorn bucket that is not available yet, but is coming later in the month, much like those Star Speeders. It's the First Order Stormtrooper helmet.
The one they advertised the first time? That was like the first one they advertised. They didn't show the Hut one, right? They showed this one first.
Yeah, so I don't think they got these in yet, but they will be available soon.
Wonderful. All right. I think that pretty much covers Season of the Force, if I am not mistaken.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's move to Florida. Get Jeremiah.
I did. Thanks.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure continues to move towards completion. Today they announced that they installed a new truck in there, which they like to keep the excitement going, talking about little things that they're doing.
Yeah.
This one was still kind of interesting. Just a truck in the queue.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was just there yesterday, and I walked up to the train platform and looked down, and the queue hasn't changed a lot, the exterior queue. Somehow I'm guessing this may be like inside the barn, like when you walked in. I don't know if it'll actually be out in the elements because it seems really nice, and the horn worked on it. So
I was surprised for this video. They actually drove this in. Like, I would have thought this would just be a prop that they...
I think they were pushing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that also, and then I kind of watched and she honked the horn, and then I see her steering while they're pushing it.
Okay. Hey, you got a compliment, Mike. Haircut looks good.
Wow.
Even though he has a hat on.
Maybe that's when it looks bad.
I looked at his hair when I saw that compliment. I was like, wait, he has a hat on.
That's how you know I haven't showered today.
Well, it is, 4:30. Tori, hurry home.
Well, it all started in New Orleans, where Walt Disney purchased this golden treasure. Inspired by his ability to sing and turn his head, Walt set out to apply these lifelike qualities to his traditional animations and create audio animatronics. Over the years, Imagineers carefully refined this process before returning down to the bayou for our next big adventure with Tiana and friends.
Those animatronics are amazing.
They look phenomenal. So excited about that. So
The-
Disney released some video via Instagram of some of the animatronics for TIAs. Go on, Jeremiah.
Well, also if you go onto YouTube and watch we call it Imagineering video, that is as close as we will ever get to the old Walt Disney Presents, where Walt would walk us through attractions and show us stuff being built. Like they show Louis without any skin on him and how his stomach moves, and it was just impressive.
They also, over the past week, have released, and I want to hear what your opinion was the moment you saw it. It is, so I apologize for not being more ready. Jeremiah.
I looked at it, and the first thing that I said is, wow, when that's at Disneyland, the lower right-hand building is going to be the Haunted Mansion. Because it's Tiana's palace or place or whichever they call it there on one side. So in Florida or in California, Haunted Mansion will be on the other side, because in Florida we have neither of those, and they aren't building either of those. So I enjoy it. I think it's one of the first times that a character has been the central piece of the.
That's what struck me. Right.
But it looks great. I love the colors. I'm a big yellow person, so that's one of those posters that hopefully we get matted when it opens out here.
Look, that Kyle, Jeremiah. I'm a big yellow person. How about you, Mike? What do you think of the poster?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't know. I saw people complaining about it, and I was like, I don't really get what's wrong with it. But then again, people complain about everything, so I think it looks nice. I don't know. I saw people saying they wanted more of the attraction itself represented, I guess, is the problem.
Can we rewind a little bit where Mike was talking about the Arabesk characters that were on certain boards?
That was a minor nitpick.
No, and the art in the background, I mean, if you could zoom in any Doobie, you see the animatronics, you see Mama Odie, you see Lewis in the background. So it gives you, it does an excellent job of, this is a coming attraction. This is the preview, the movie preview. Go see.
I would be one that is disappointed that there is not more ride in it, that she is essentially covering the major part of the ride. Other than that, I like it. I too am a big yellow person, Jeremiah. We have that in common. We just found out. But yeah, I wish you could actually see the drop in Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Do you have any opinions? Welcome back, Rebecca. That didn't take as long as I expected. Any opinions on this poster?
Yeah, I think I've just fallen into the camp of, I like a better sense of kind of what the experience is itself. But I like Tiana, so I'm happy to see her front and center. It's really different compared to other attraction posters that we've had. I think so.
Different. Yeah.
But I really like the simple outline of the critters and Mama Odie. I like.
We lost volume.
Goodness, what did I do? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, babe. Sorry.
No worries. I hope to have a Spirit jersey in this yellowy, like this yellowy color with the Tiana Bayou logo, and then the characters like drawn on, or a T-shirt, with the characters drawn on it like that. I like that look. So I hope that we get that kind of thing. So.
Did you say you're a yellow person too?
I like yellow, yeah.
Mike, are you not going to join the group?
Mike's not a yellow person.
I have nothing against yellow.
Unless it has to be on an angry duckbill, right? Angry duckbill.
Do you have pictures from the update yesterday?
I do. I will get those in just a second. We also got pictures from some of the characters that are going to be as a part of it. In the Zido Band, as I
love Zydeco.
I'm really excited about this attraction. I have high hopes.
I like Zydeco in small portions.
I feel like I'm going to have to buy you a rubber tree plant then, Doobie.
All you're going to get is small portions. What do you want to say about this, Jeremiah?
I sent over the barn opening with the mural from the train station. I think it may be down a little bit more. Went up to the train station and they've added in that one right there. Up.
Oh, not that one.
Nope.
That one.
The one that has
That
lots
one.
of color. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can get a really good view of the mural. They added in the Tiana's Foods logo. And then if you look underneath the window, it says main entrance. So
And food and main entrance. So do you
Yeah.
think that, would you guess that is where we will enter the attraction?
I do guess that. And like I said, I'm guessing that the truck is going to be just inside that barn. Looking down at the queue, it's interesting because we're so used to the old splash queue out here with the kind of wood that was more like a beaver had gnawed on it and made it round. And they were using more of the large plank wood for the queue as they were building it out there. I didn't get any pictures looking down into it, but they're moving along really quick.
I actually heard they were using a special kind of wood to do that construction there.
Hollywood.
Jeremiah used to work at Universal Studios.
Yes.
Hollywood. He has a little bit of experience on that tram, so.
A little bit. That was my life for quite a few years.
He has no idea what we're referencing.
And then in the midst of all this, we got some test track news of all things. We finally have a closing date for Test Track as is, June 17th, 2024. And then work will begin in earnest on the new version, which they have released a little bit of concept art for.
A little bit. Very little.
And yet we learned so much. We don't have the big... Go ahead, Rebecca.
No, go ahead with your story.
We don't have the big temporary tent out front. We can see 3 entrances. We can see a sponsor. That's about it.
I like the redesign, which really isn't a redesign at all because I don't think they're changing anything other than removing the canopy. It does kind of have a feel of World of Motion again, but the track is still the same. They're not covering the track from what I understand. So that's still going to be the exterior loop that we're used to for the past 30 years.
30 years. Oh, dude.
So my favorite moment in regards to this news breaking was Doobie saying, "I can't believe I'm old enough to have been there for Test Track 2.0's arrival and now departure." To which Gideon said, "I was there for the opening of Test Track 2.0. I was like, so see, you aren't as old as you think.
I was literally there. I was also there for the original Test Track.
Yeah.
Well, no, you go before that. You were there when you were hoping it would soft open because you could hear cars operating. And how much longer after that?
2 whole years.
I was there also in 98 when it was promised to open that October.
I was there in 97. Yeah, 97. May 97, watching the cars, hanging out. Maybe they'll soft open 2 years before it opened.
No, because World of Motion closed 94, 95.
Gideon, where are you? That's one he for certain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fun to be free. All right,
I just know I wrote it once.
Actually, one more Disney World forward-looking thing. So much.
96.
We've complained, rightly so, that Disney World doesn't really have much announced beyond Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but little things are happening. We have the Test Track thing that we know is coming, and we got some little bit of additional. I'll leave that for you, Jeremiah.
I think we definitely got some additional. I mean, we've seen this artwork since November with Destination D23 out here. It's when the Tropic Americas, what is it called?
Right. I think you're right. It's Tropical Americas.
Yeah, I can never remember. Was announced as possibly coming, to which we all got very excited because Indiana Jones.
Hey, you made it.
And then,
this is Imagineer Neil. He's giving us a behind-the-curtain look at the planning and research that's...
Now it is. Sorry.
No. Indiana Jones and Encanto, and this behind-the-scenes look, the fact that they actually went down and looked at the pyramids, if you pause at the proper time, you can see the concept art that we're assuming is what Dinosaur formerly was, that has an Incan pyramid. There it is. And then, of course, we have the casita from Encanto. So we don't know what's going to be inside either of those other than some type of Indiana Jones attraction, which I'm guessing is a pretty safe bet that it's going to be similar to Temple of the Forbidden Eye or Crystal Skull in Tokyo because it's the same track. But Encanto is the one that we're all still waiting to hear, and hopefully in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you want to experience some of this cool Disney World stuff, hey, you're in luck. Disney World has some new offers that have dropped. Are you too familiar with these, Rebecca? You can talk about them? No, not really.
The Disney Chase Visa, if you book a vacation with your Disney Chase Visa, a free dining plan is included. I don't recall the dates because I didn't look much at it, but I know it drops tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow you can do those bookings. And there's also some new hotel offers and special tickets launching tomorrow as well for Walt Disney World hotel guests. So you can get all those details, obviously, on Laughing Place. But when you're ready to book, we recommend you use Mouse Fan Travel. It can get pretty confusing. Prices change over time. Discounts change. They will always make sure you get the best price. If new discounts drop later on, they will automatically drop you into them. Free dining is awesome, but it's not always the best way to save money. So they can help you do those calculations, and it's complicated to go to a theme park these days. So why not use a Disney travel agent? We recommend Mouse Fan Travel. There's never any additional charge for you, and they often can save you quite a bit of money. Definitely save you quite a bit of aggravation, and there's just no downside. So we recommend Mouse Fan Travel. Rich Ostry was in the chat earlier. He's one of the agents over there. They have tons of them. Rebecca does. Disney Vacation Insights on a pretty regular basis with Heather from Mouse Fan Travel. You can see a lot of their videos on this channel. We recommend Mouse Fan Travel. And if you're looking forward to maybe going to Disneyland, well, Avatar. We've got some Avatar news. Who wants to talk about that? Go for it, Mike.
So there is a project in the works called Disneyland Forward, and this is Disney's effort to lift some of the zoning restrictions on the land that they already own and are using mostly for parking lots at the Disneyland Resort. And if that passes, which the final vote is coming up on April 16th at the Anaheim City Hall with the City Council, if that passes, we expect to probably get a whole lot of news coming up, maybe at D23, about what they're planning to build there. And one of the assumed things is this Avatar expansion that they have talked about for a while now. This is the first art that we've seen for it, and I was impressed and surprised that it looks very different from what we have at Disney's Animal Kingdom and Walt Disney World. Very happy about that, actually, because I like to have different experiences when I go down there rather than, repeat the same thing that we have here at Disneyland. It looks like there's a boat ride that passes through some outdoor space, which is cool.
Yeah, that is amazing looking.
And I'm actually wondering if this will actually be an outdoor space. This could possibly be, you're transported and they have a giant show building, but my thought is if they're doing this, hopefully this will be the first time we see the Pirates of the Caribbean technology from Shanghai used over here, because that would be, if there's one reason that I would ride another Avatar ride, it would be that. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, that's about all I had to say. So very curious to find out more. I'm very, very, very curious to know where this is intended to go.
Yes. And agree with Jeremiah, and agree with some of the thoughts that Jeremiah just put out there. What is the reality of what we're seeing there? Is this a representation of an outdoor space, or is this a representation of the outdoor space being brought indoors that we'll experience? That kind of scenario we just at this time don't know. But we do know that it will have adorable little blue otters of some sort, because they were adorable and they were cute and we all love them, and we would be very disappointed if they don't actually happen. So therefore I'm convinced they will.
We have now willed them into existence.
Yep.
Adorable little blue otters.
Manifesting.
and as Kyle helpfully points out, and Mike basically said, Josh made it clear that this is contingent on the passing of Disneyland Forward. So,
which I mean, having gone to some of those meetings, it seems like a kind of a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. I mean, there are definitely people who are not in support of it, but by and large, it seemed like everyone at those meetings was even the people who were outspoken against it seemed convinced that it was going to pass on April 16th. So I would be surprised at this point if it doesn't.
This past week, Disney held its annual meeting of shareholders, which I believe we probably all attended. Certainly most of us attended because it was virtual, so it wasn't that hard. And so one of the interesting things that got talked about, one of the Q&A questions was, someone said, with Epic Universe coming to Universal Studios in Orlando next year, what is Disney's response to that going to be? And Bob Iger's answer was we all found it was pretty interesting in that he said, essentially, we've known about something like this coming to Universal for the past 10 years. And so our response is Avatar and Tron and, a bunch of things, basically things that have already opened, which is, it's not an invalid answer, but it is interesting. And this will change hopefully later this year, that there is still no new attraction announced for Disney World next year or beyond at this point. So hopefully soon we do get an actual answer to what Disney's response to Epic Universe will be. But that was one interesting aspect of what was a more interesting shareholder meeting than I expected. Yes, sir,
I don't fall into the camp of somebody who thinks they need to answer. So
they don't. I'm right there with you.
I'm like, Epic Universe is going to bring the people to Orlando, and as long as you have a solid product that, even if it's just something little that's different, Epic Universe is bringing people to Orlando. I don't know that you have to.
So even putting Epic Universe aside, don't you think Disney? Well, not don't you think? Do you think Disney World needs to have something big basically every year?
Do I think big? I don't think so. But I'm not the right person to ask because I am an addict who just goes all the time anyway. So there.
Yeah. I think we're going to see, if I had to make a prediction of things that we'll hear announced, definitely a new parade for the Magic Kingdom, maybe some fireworks returning to the studios, like more of the things that are easy to do, because just like Rebecca said, people are going to come, and unless you're Gideon, most people come here and they do Universal for 2 days and they do Disney for a week. And Epic, while it's great, and I love Isla Burke, it's like, I'm not a big How to Train Your Dragon fan, and as cool as that is, will that be a park that I want to spend 3-4 days at?
Because let me give you this argument, GB. If you announce something is coming, then you run the concern of people waiting because they're like, well, I don't want to go until that's there because I know that's coming, so I'll hold off on my vacation. So to me, it seems, and like I'm a total, I don't do this for a living, but it seems like this might be a good time to announce things that are on horizon because people are already coming to Orlando for Epic Universe, so they won't be put off by the fact of, well, but Disney World has this attraction coming next year, because it'll be like, well, I want to see Epic Universe that first year. I'll make sure I hit a little bit of Disney World, but they've got something new coming, the following year. So I don't know.
That is a valid point, and I can understand not wanting to announce things too soon for that reason. So I don't care about the announcement, but I think it doesn't look like they're actually building anything, and it takes time to build. It would be nice if they could not announce and then boom, it's open, and then boom, it's open. But the fact is, it takes years to build. So the fact that they've not announced anything and we can see that there's no major construction going on means we're probably at least 2 years away from any major new attraction. And yes, that's a disappointment to me. On the other hand, Disney has committed to spending $60 billion on theme parks. So stuff will be coming. There's no doubt that stuff will be coming.
But Doobie, you just kind of contradicted what we just saw, the change of Animal Kingdom.
Yes, that is but even that's great. I'm not even poo-pooing that. It's just it hasn't yet been announced. It's obviously not yet under construction because Dinosaur's still open.
Yeah.
So, yes, that is coming. We also know something's going to come beyond Big Thunder at some point, but nothing has actually begun. And because of how long this stuff takes, we're years away from it actually opening.
I like this remark by Todd Stone because I can't tell you how many times I've been at Disney World, and heard people nearby or heard cast members having to explain to people that Harry Potter is not there. And so I'm interested for this too.
I had a friend who worked at Matterhorn way back in the day, and one of the number one questions, or she was just in the park, and one of the number one questions she gets, "Where's Magic Mountain?"
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She'd be like, "Okay, go out. You get on the 5. You go all the way north."
Yesterday I learned Gold Rush is still open. I cannot believe
Yeah.
that night is still around. That blew me away.
Still one of the best coasters, although Twisted Colossus is the best coaster, period.
By the way, I will say this is something that I would love to know better on perception versus reality, because my perception is definitely that I encounter attractions down far more than I have a decade or two ago. But I don't know if that's because when I encounter them, I immediately look to see what I want to do next on my app, and then can find out that something else is also down. Whereas before, I would have walked over to that attraction, and in many cases, by the time I get there, it's reopened, and I would have never known that it was, down in that in between time. So that's why
I have a theory.
I wish I could know the reality versus the.
It's not bunnies, Doobie. Sorry, nobody gets that.
It's not. No one does. It's not just your imagination, and I attribute it to cell phones. And people drop cell phones, and cell phones bring attractions down, and I believe that plays a large part in more downtime. As someone who has dropped a cell phone on an attraction, it did not bring it down. It is still.
I went looking for it today too.
Thank you, but it happens. People drop cell phones, and cell phones bring down attractions.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
Buffy joke. What's a Buffy? Just kidding. In other Disneyland resort news, the Autopia reportedly will be going electric at some point. No further details at this time.
I didn't read the release. I'm sorry, Doobie. Did it actually say electric, or did it say alternate energy?
Okay.
I believe the term was electrified.
So
maple syrup.
Kyle, you handled this at the time. This was not actually, I don't believe, a Disneyland release. This was an LA Times article. So yes, it is unclear whether this would mean fully electric vehicles or hybrids. They will become more eco-friendly.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was guessing. I mean, I've made the comment that they've had the Autopia cars from Hong Kong Disneyland parked somewhere for almost a decade that were the first and only electric Autopia, but I don't think they'll ship those over here.
If they went like Flintstone style and tried to tackle two problems at once.
By the way, I love this idea from Geo that the ride should become like HasLab, where they have the Kickstarter campaigns. We all put in money. I like the idea, like if we reach this, like we'll have this many products on it, but we didn't reach so that we'll have this. If you want the Sabine character also in this, then you have to get them to.
They have that. It's called Lightning Lane.
Thank you, Kyle. It was eventually put out directly from Disneyland. So I sit corrected. Jeremiah, pen trading's back. Go.
Yes, as of yesterday, pen trading is back pretty much Disneyland and Walt Disney World wide, where for the past few months, I guess it's been about a year since they've kind of released the pen boards. And every now and then a manager would have a little hip sack for their pen trading. But as of yesterday, lanyards, pins are everywhere. And then they also went out and released a new set of the hidden Disney pins, which they gave us some of, and you're looking at them. But the cool thing, and this has been something I've been avoiding pen trading for the past 2 years, easy. So I didn't know this until yesterday, but if you look in the corner of like the Star Wars one, there's a hidden Rebel symbol. And then on the Bernie, there's a hidden Pixar ball. So they have each of the different Disney properties has their own little logo attached to it. And these were the set that was released yesterday. There are 5 different sets, 5 pins in each set, along with Super Chasers, which they didn't show us, which are usually just one of those pins, but in a silver without any of the fill on it. But yeah, I was in the park. I was in Disney's Hollywood Studios today, and I actually walked up to so many cast members asking to see their pins. It very much felt like my old days at Disneyland, and I had a little scary moment of I can't do this anymore.
Don't do it, Jeremiah. Don't get back on the wagon.
No, off the wagon.
Don't get off the wagon. Yes, Rebecca.
Why are you guys ripping on it as hidden? It's as hidden as some of these other Mickeys that are out there as hidden.
Hidden is because they are only available on cast lanyards. It is not hidden as in like this. When the hidden Mickeys came out years and years and years ago, they were actually like hidden Mickeys. These are just hidden Disney pins that you can only find on cast lanyards. I know a lot of people who are not pinaholics like myself didn't quite understand the hidden term of that, but it is, you can only get these if you trade with a cast member, so that is why they are hidden. They are not available for purchase at this time. They did say at some point later they'll offer some, which they've done in the past with the mystery pin packs, but as of now, those are the only way to get those fun pins.
All right, let's do some quick Disneyland Resort hits from stuff that you guys saw when you were there last week. Donald's boat, shock, has actually arrived. Who got this?
I took the pics. You can't go up on the second floor anymore.
Breaking news.
How long is that? Was that closed?
No, I just like how that's like the first thing you mentioned. It's like no second floor for you.
It's really just that like splash pad out front, and then there's like a little shower station behind the boat, and that's it. That's all that's in Donald's pond.
He's but just it's finally mad because Donald looks happy there, so he's not. Look, it's a smile. It's not an angry Donald, so therefore it does not receive the Celestino mark of Donald approval.
That's about right.
Toontown opened what? Has it been a year since Toontown actually opened yet?
Yeah, about a year.
And
there were walls up for a very long time.
Has finally arrived. So are there no more walls in Toontown? Is it all finito now?
I believe it is all open now, yes.
Until tomorrow or Thursday when Mike goes back and some other areas closed off.
Pixar Fest decor started to appear around the resort. As Pixar Fest is only a certain amount of time away.
Not long, because I just found out when the media event is. I'm like, wow, that's coming up quick.
So some of these some of the decor is popping up in downtown Disney. We found a little bit of Coco down by the Jazz Kitchen, and then up by the World of Disney, right where you get off the tram, was some Toy Story representation. So get a little taste of some of the kind of the decor, the general feel of what's coming with Pixar Fest in a few days or weeks.
Okay. And also down in downtown Disney, it looks like Earl of Sandwiches opened up a train.
A temporary spot has popped up over by Star Wars Trading Post. It wasn't quite open yet. I mean, it wasn't open when I was there, but it looks like it could open at any moment.
Is that over the old pond that was there, or is the pond still behind it?
It's the pond is still there behind it.
So that got really tight in there.
Is the Trading Post still open?
Yes, and yeah, there's like a weird path to get into the Trading Post now because of the fence all that fence work out in front. So that whole area is really under construction. But now that you say that, Jeremiah, I'm thinking I should have just walked a little bit forward and taken a picture of that away so you could see the pond. But yeah, go ahead.
And this is just a temporary location, right?
That's my understanding. What do you have an understanding on this? I didn't look too deeply into it. I just got a note from Luke that says, "You're in downtown Disney. Can you take a picture of the Earl of Sandwich trailer?"
Yeah, this is temporary.
I believe the permanent one is being built across the way there.
Yeah.
Right back where it originally was.
The east end near the Esplanade. Yeah, anyway. Sorry.
No, as I told Doobie, when the power went out, so did my notes. so I was not able to retrieve them. So that's where I'm at with
So
being helpful.
eventually there will be a 2-story permanent home just across the way in the downtown Phoenix expansion area, with the lower level being the quick service and an upper level being a table service gastropub.
Woohoo!
I do not like one bit. All right. Let's see. If you want to buy a Fort Wilderness cabin, you can for about $50,000.
Yep.
I think they come fully furnished, so actually, in a way, you're kind of saving money.
But this doesn't remain on Disney property. Like, you're not going to live.
These are the ones that they have removed so that they can bring in those new ones. And so in essence, they're selling off mobile homes.
Okay.
If you could buy that
Fort
on
Wilderness.
Disney property, how fast would that sell out? Oh my goodness.
Forget Golden Oak.
Some very savvy people have picked. I saw someone picked it up, and they're Airbnb, and they're using it as a. You can go spend a night in it somewhere. I forget. I want to say it was in maybe Texas, maybe Arizona, but somewhere in the southwest of the U.S. And yes, Geo, the Astro Orbiter was finally back open, which meant that little area there leading into the Star Tours area was delightfully crowded. Again,
Have they finally removed that one wall of that one section that has the great concept art that's been there since pandemic?
I'm trying to recall.
It's to the left as you're walking into Tomorrowland, that little area before Triton's.
I don't recall. I walked by that area in the early morning before I had caffeine. I don't remember.
It didn't actually get seen, despite the fact your eyes looked towards it. Over at Epcot, there is new entertainment called Forces of Nature. Did you get to see this, Jeremiah?
I did. It's really entertaining. It's acrobatics, and this does throw back to the old Epcot type shows. It's a 15-minute show of just acrobatics on a spinning wheel. They do a fun little show, pose for photos. Doesn't need to be anything more than that. It's instead of watching the Jameters, you can go watch the Forces of Nature on the other side.
Excited about that. I love that old school Epcot entertainment. Alexa, thank you. The wall is still there.
Probably why I didn't notice it was gone, because it was still
all right. Jeremiah, I will end it with this. Tell us about the thing you got to do this week that I am so jealous that I did not get to do this year like I did last year at the Dreamers Academy.
What just popped up on the screen?
Nothing for us, so it must
Okay,
be on the screen.
It was something very weird popped up. Yes, the Dreamers Academy was this past weekend. It was actually Kyle's message popped up massive on my screen, so I didn't understand what it was. 100 students from across the U.S. submitted essays. They get an all-expense paid out trip out to Walt Disney World. Dara Renee, who is a star from High School Musical, the musical. She's also Ursula's daughter in the upcoming Descendants 4, The Rise of Red. She was the Dream Ambassador. I got to go to some of the living laboratories and see the kids, including one where Lanny Smoot was talking to them and not talking.
Wait,
yes.
Context, Lanny Smoot?
Imagineer. The second Imagineer, the second Disney person to ever be inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame along with Walt Disney. He's the one that created the cool moving floor. The extendable lightsaber is one of his. And he was telling these kids everything that he's done, and then turned it around and had them ask questions. And one of my favorite parts of this entire thing was he wasn't talking to them like, oh, this is what you guys need to do. He was doing lots of real talk with them. The kids, they had 6 or 7 different choices of what they wanted to learn about. Imagineering was one, aerospace engineering, marine biology, and there was all across property, the kids were taken into different classrooms or different areas. For the Imagineering, it was one of the conference rooms at Test Track. And then for, of course, the marine biology was the VIP area for the Seas with Nemo and Friends. And I didn't get the full experience like you did last year, Doobie. Mine was kind of just a quick hit on things. So we saw the parade and then we saw the living laboratories, and then of course the closing, the commencement, which is an emotional thing. It was very neat. Um, the guy from Shark Tank, let me try to remember what his, yeah, he gave a great speech. It's great to be able to watch kids who want to learn and want to learn about these things and are hoping to go forward, just sit there and learn from the masters and get to experience and have fun. One of the great things that they do is their social media challenge, where they walked around and just did social media videos and had to find different influencers. Just a great experience. Hopefully next year Doobie and I can do it together, and then we can hang out more with everybody. But definitely something, if you have a child in the high school age next year when it rolls around, look up the information. Definitely have them write an essay. All expense paid trip to Walt Disney World, and you get to learn and go and have fun, and they get to party. They were having after hours parties in the park with DJs, and the DJs were bringing some of the kids up and showing them how to DJ. And it was just lots of fun.
Great event. It's a great thing that Disney does that obviously people are aware of it, but I wish people were even more aware of it. And Disney, I mean, they're corporate sponsors, obviously, but this is all 100% free to the kids and to one of the I believe they're able to bring one chaperone per kid with them, with the room and the parks and all the learning and such. And as we said, they party, they have a good time. Remember last year we did have a lot more access, but there were definitely a lot of things where they got rid of us because it was all about the kids. It was not about putting on a show for the media or anybody else. It was about the kids, and just a great event. I'm so glad. One of the highlights of being an LPer is being able to cover that particular event, and so much. Anything else anybody want to say before we finish off today that I missed or that you got coming up or anything else?
Can I hit on one of the quick things? You mentioned it earlier, and I thought you were transitioning into it. Universal Studios Hollywood announced the Glamour Tram for the 60th anniversary. Starts the 26th of this month, I believe was the date. Yes. And they are bringing back a handful of the original trams and repainting them as the Glamour Trams with the red and white that were the colors from 1964 through 1983. And not only would those be updated, and all the regular trams will have the updated videos, so when guests are on the tour, they'll be able to experience everything. Guests will be able to step off the tram, which we've not done since the 80s or early 90s with the Prop Plaza, and walk parts of the backlot during the normal day. Halloween Horror Nights, they have guests walking it, but as you can see here, they step off down by the Bates Motel, and you'll be able to walk and see things like one of the dinosaurs that was an advertisement for Jurassic World, a King Kong photo prop. When you're over in the courthouse square, there'll be a Doc Brown character along with one of the original DeLoreans that you'll be able to take photos of. And they're really pushing this. It is just the 60th anniversary of Universal Studios Hollywood, which as it started, it was Universal Studios Tour. So instead of focusing on everything else, they're just, hey, let's bring back some of the highlights of the tour that made it so popular for so many years.
And you left off the most important part.
Popcorn bucket, yes. As I said when this image appeared, I've not okay, I have to have this popcorn bucket. This popcorn bucket I have to have. And I know that right now our Becky from Mouse Fan Travel, MEI Travel, is at Universal Studios Hollywood. So I don't know if she's getting any previews of this, but that is a great way to book a vacation is through Mouse Fan Travel.
Yeah, I always mention their Disney stuff, but they do a ton of Universal work too. They're happy to help you stay at a Universal hotel, take care of your tickets and all that. They also do a lot of cruise lines. They specialize in Royal Caribbean, so if you want to book a Royal Caribbean cruise as well as Disney cruise or any other cruise line for that matter, but they're really truly one of the experts in both Disney and Royal Caribbean. So,
Mike and Doobie, I have a question for you guys before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I know we're wrapping up. Okay, sports fans, when we talk about our team, we often, and I know Mike isn't necessarily sports passionate, but
Sport talk.
sports fans will say we won last night. We lost that last night, right? I don't feel like Disney or theme park fans do that in the same way. So I feel like a tell on whether or not somebody has worked at a theme park is when they're talking about a theme park, and much as Jeremiah just did a moment ago said, we haven't done that since the 80s or 90s. Do you guys agree with me
Oh,
there
yeah.
that's a bit of a tell?
Yeah, our CEO still does it.
Uh-huh.
I've been working in 10 years.
I do it with both Disney and Universal, even though I didn't realize I did that with the Universal. But yes, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about the Universal Studios Hollywood tour. That was my home and my baby for quite a few years. So I'm very excited for this expansion or this enhancement.
Me too, because my son loves the Glamour Tram. He used to have a little toy one, and just when I hear that, I just picture him, the little 6-year-old Gideon with his little toy, talking about the Glamour Tram. So I'm so excited.
I already put in an order. I wrote to our friend over there in the Universal area and said, if you see one of these, please pick it up for me.
Did you want to mention anything? Sorry, what?
When was Gideon born?
Oh, well after. 2009, so
well
after the era of the Glamour Tram.
Totally. And you will find out someday, Jeremiah, when you have kids. You just never know what your kid's going to get hooked onto. Never, ever, ever. Rebecca, I don't know if you wanted to mention anything about some of the stuff cool thing you did this weekend, or
you mean what I was doing before I went to?
Yeah.
Before I went to the Season of the Force, I was able
Thursday night specifically.
I was able, on behalf of Laughing Place, to attend a screening in celebration of Jane Goodall over at the Greek Theater. It was an amazing gathering to be there. I hadn't been to the Greek before, so it's an outdoor amphitheater, beautiful in the hills. We got to experience the film about this amazing woman who studied chimpanzees. I didn't realize, I knew she was influential within our understanding of chimps. I did not understand just how dramatically her research had shaped our understanding of chimpanzee and chimpanzee behavior. So that was really an interesting evening to be reminded of that, and also just exciting with all of the upcoming projects. There's a series that they've been doing, and they've kind of explored the world of the bees, and they've explored the world of the elephants, and next up they're going to explore the world of the penguins. And Bertie Gregory, I think is his family name. He's like the host of it. He's going to be the host of this particular next installment. And he's like, I'm going to swear you all to super secrecy. You can't tell anybody about this, blah, blah. So I'm not going to tell you anything except to say that I have never been as hold my breath on the edge of my seat, totally wrapped up in a moment of documentary filmmaking about animals than I was with a sequence that they shared with us from this penguins thing. So I'm super excited for that. And obviously the octopus is coming soon that's narrated by Paul Rudd. So yeah, it was just a lot of beautiful imagery of planet Earth. Yes, Mr. Jeremiah.
Was it a penguin being chased by a seal, and you go into the water and you swim around, and then you're like on a puck, and you're like, and then you come out and it just smells like penguin poo?
Yeah, no, and you're freezing cold because you've dressed for Orlando? No, it wasn't. But
that was fun.
But yeah, and then I also attended an event for the organization Ryman Arts. I'm going to be writing that up because they were honoring Bob Weiss. And first of all, I haven't dealt with him very, very much because he really kind of became more, I will say, prominent, more forward-facing after I kind of had taken a step back as far as like being a writer here at Laughing Place, much more kind of behind the scenes for me. And so just being able to hear him speak and to hear his passion for the arts and hear others talk about him. And I mean, I feel like in the community I grew up with, there's the word mensch is used, and he just it feels like just a tremendous person. And then during his speech, he talked about Marty Sklar's wife Leah, who I did not know what a powerhouse she has been within the arts community and everything. And so I'm gonna have to sit down and kind of dive more into Ryman Arts a little bit, dive more into Leah Sklar a little bit more, because I want to share that with all of you, because for me as a Disney fan, I feel like it was kind of an aspect of the kind of tangential Disney-ness that I didn't know, and I'm glad I know. And so I want to bring that to all of you as well. So yeah, just a really inspiring evening. So it was I'm grateful to have been able to go on behalf of LP.
And LP is Ryman Arts is a great organization. They're a charitable organization, and so Laughing Place is actually quite proud to be one of their contributors.
Yeah.
And I hope it's okay that I show this, but very proud to be one of their contributors. They have a board showing all of the logos of the people that are, and we are at the advocate level. And what an organization. I'm glad you got to go to that. I've never been to one of those Ryman Arts events. I've heard so much about them, and I've enjoyed hearing you tell me about it, and looking forward to your article. All right, Mike, anything you wanted to mention?
From Season of the Force, you can go and read my interviews with 2 Imagineers, one being Tom Fitzgerald, the other being Michael Cerna, and Lucasfilm Story Group member Matt Martin. Those are all part of one post on Laughing Place. And then I also wrote up a kind of an overview of my experience on Friday and my thoughts on each individual part, each individual segment or experience at Season of the Force. And then coming up later this week, we got Who's the Boss, talking about the Bad Batch as we approach the series finale of that. And yeah, I think the next big thing for me is going to be Pixar Fest.
Our Fest coming up. All right, well, thanks, Kyle, for the tip. Coming up on LP this week, we've got coverage from CinemaCon, coverage from Disneyland Paris. Laughing Place, we're everywhere, all the time. If it's happening, I think we must own a fleet of jets as much as we travel around here. So, when we say we're going to be covering, we mean we actually have people there, our staff, at these locations. So,
or we're very good at Photoshop.
So CinemaCon, Disneyland Paris, who knows what else is coming up. Go ahead, Rebecca.
And I'm going to ask everybody to do a favor that I don't usually do. If you're watching this and if you stumble on stuff at Laughing Place, let your friends know about us. You can retweet us or repost us now. Like I say, if you're enjoying this, let your friends know about it. Comment below that you like it, because these are the things nowadays that make it easier. I mean, we all have to feed the algorithm, honestly. And so by commenting and by sharing, you'll help elevate the visibility of Laughing Place and help us get out to more people, and we appreciate that a lot. And so I'm just going to put it out there and say thank you when you share.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you for saying that. So tomorrow, we've got Barely Necessities coming up at 4 p.m. Pacific. We've got Disney Trivia Live coming up at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. Later on, we have more Who's the Boss coming up this week, Mike?
Thursday, 4:30 p.m.
Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Who knows? Whenever news breaks, we often go live then as well. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will see you in the future.